Dr. Keith, I wanted to ask you a question about chapter 9. It talks about how sex sort of begins in the kitchen. You know, we talked about the whole lust piece with men and men dealing with sex, but a lot of time, how do we make love to our wife throughout the day, and how does sex sort of begin in the kitchen? Can you give us some more input into that chapter?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that we've done is we've taken a truth and we've kind of taught it a little wrong, and we've made things worse in the church. Because what we've done is we've taught sex begins in the kitchen, meaning if I load the dishwasher, my wife owes me sex tonight at some level. And that's terrible. And that should not be what we were teaching in the church. But unfortunately, that's why it comes across in a lot of books. When we talk about it, it's much more about the fact that your sex life comes out of a relationship. It flows naturally from a deep partnership that a husband and wife have together. So when Sheila writes on her blog, what gets you in the mood? A lot of women say, my husband doing housework. So guys think, okay, this is the transaction. Yeah, right. Like if I write a check for, then I get. Like if I do this, then but that's not what women are saying. What women are saying is we appreciate it when you are a partner with me in life. Yeah. We appreciate it when you act like a responsible adult and clean up after yourself and want to contribute to our marriage. And that's why I think so many women are looking for men to be, strong participants in the marriage relationship. And that's why they feel safe and they want to be close to you when you act like that. Mm-hmm.
And now, Sheila, you had mentioned to me previously that, there have been so many different couples that you have talked to, that you've worked with, but there was one couple in particular whose story you were excited to share.
Yes, well, it's not a real couple, but I think this will stick with people and people will get this. We often wonder why it is that women don't want sex as much as men. But let's imagine a fictional couple named Dan and Tracy, and imagine that they were told that what Tracy really needs in order to feel loved is to go out to a restaurant once a week. Okay, so that's what it really takes for her. And so Dan and Tracy, they dutifully go to a restaurant and they order their food and they're sitting there and they're enjoying a great conversation about goals for the future and their next vacation. And Tracy's appetizer arrives and it's a lovely French onion soup and she eats it. It's the best she's ever had. She just loves it. And they keep talking, but nothing's coming for Dan. And then Tracy's steak and baked potato gets there and she's slathering the sour cream on and it's got this peppercorn sauce. It's a beautiful medium rare. She just thinks this is incredible. She's just gushing about it. And they keep talking and they keep enjoying themselves, but nothing comes for Dan. And now the waitress is bringing her molten lava cake for dessert and she puts her spoon in there and the chocolate pools and it's amazing. And just as she's almost done, the waitress arrives with Dan's chicken wing appetizer. And he takes one and he eats it and then he downs the second. And then Tracy stands up and says, "Oh, that was amazing. I love going to dinner with you." And then she walks towards the door and Dan follows behind looking at the 4 chicken wings still sitting on his plate. And she says, "I just think this is amazing when we do this. Let's do this again next week." And imagine that they do this every week for 10 years. How much do you think Dan will enjoy going to restaurants? And then imagine that Dan is also told, but all that you really need is the conversation. What you really get out of restaurants is just that conversation that you share. And so you should be happy anyway. And this is what is happening with women in the church, is that we're told all we really need is the closeness. And as long as the closeness is there, we're fine. And then we wonder why women don't like sex. And so I just want us all to remember Dan and Tracy. And if you feel like Dan and Tracy are you can get out of that. And that's where the Good Girls Guides and Good Guys Guide to Great Sex come in, is because we show how we can make this wonderful for both genders.
Absolutely, because the church needs to talk differently about this. 1 Corinthians 7 talks about the mutuality of the relationship. And we use that verse, to be honest, as a weapon against women who don't want to have sex enough. And we sort of cajole women into that using that verse. That is not what God meant by that. God created women with an incredible capacity to enjoy the physical aspects of sex. I won't get into too much medical details, but you can make the argument that they're built to enjoy it more than men. And yet what we've done in the church is we said it's for men's physical release. And then we tell women to do it more so that men can have physical release. So my question is, when we've taught that, who is really being deprived in the situation? We're depriving the wife of incredible experience that she should be having. And I think most Christian men don't want to do that. They want it to be a great experience for both of them. And so that's why we think these books will really help a lot of couples.
Wow, well, thank you so much for sharing that story. And there's so much wonderful information. If you could just really quick in a nutshell say, okay, for the guys, this is the most important thing that the guys should know about sex, and this is the most important thing that the woman should know about sex, what would you say?
You go first.
Well, I think for the guys, am I allowed to say the guys? I think we just need to understand the sexual response cycle, which is, for guys, it looks the same. Excitement, arousal, desire, they all kind of look the same. And so you're just ready to go. Women aren't like that. Even high drive women, because women can have the higher drive. We do have to go through different physiological stages in order to work towards orgasm. And so just learn to work with your wife's body and understand that she's not broken if she doesn't work exactly like you. I think that's really key.
And I think the key message for the women is that this is something that's meant to be good for you too. Not just that you're supposed to do it, it's your duty, but that it's actually meant to be something enjoyable. And that can be the case for you. And you're not broken. You just haven't been taught right.